begin the stream.
Okay.
Vomit God.
Hello.
Denver brutal death metal band. Thank you guys for having us over to practice today.
Thank you, man. It's an honor for us. Thank you, bro.
To have
Appreciate that shit.
Oh, yeah.
It's been a long time in the making.
Yes, it has. It has been a long time. And really appreciate you taking the time. And you guys sounded killer.
Right on, man. Thank you.
It was awesome. It was great to hear you up close like that.
Nice. We appreciate the opportunity to do this, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Got a little personal with us.
Keep it personal.
Okay. So for fans out there who might not know like some of the history of the band, can you just give us a brief history of Vomit God, like the origins and
Yeah.
sort of how it came to be what we
You
all
want to
know
handle that? You know it as well
today?
as I do.
Not so much anymore.
Okay, originally Vomit God was myself, John Panagoulis, who been in the scene forever. He's also a rapper now. He's called Ouija. Pretty sick. He's pretty sick. And then a guy by the name of Shad Justice on drums, and that was 1995. Short-lived thing. Then 5 years ago, I was writing a bunch of music for Zombie Hate Brigade, and it just wasn't fitting grind. It was a little more technical, a little more chuggy, and so I started using all the stuff I was writing for them that they didn't want to use, and started Vomit God. That's where it began again.
Right. And since then, sort of what's happened? Can you?
I put out a piece of shit CD called Inverted. Did that by myself in my basement with a bunch of other local singers. Had Adam Baxter from Harvest the Murdered, Chris from Zombie Hate Brigade. Who else did I have? Zach from Zyphoid came in and did some tracks with me. We just kind of put that out. Then I started writing the second CD, and for whatever reason, those songs just blew up. I mean, it went from just a piece of shit CD to 5 or 6 different splits, 9 or 10 compilation CDs, a couple thousand plays on underground radio stations and such. So it just kind of blew up, and I got hit up to book a tour. So I booked the whole tour, and prior to the tour, it was like, man, I have a lot of respect for one-man bands, but that's not what I want to do. So started searching for members, and that's when Michael came in.
Hi.
And then we had Don from Despise the Sun on vocals, and then another guy playing guitar with us, Jason Moore. Went out, did the tour. Horrible fucking tour, but had a great time. We got to tour with some really sick bands from Italy, and
Got me some great people.
yeah, man, went out and had a blast. Came to Las Vegas, and he came up and did guest vocals with us, and that was it, dude. Right there, I knew where the singer was. I knew what I wanted, knew who I wanted, and from then on, it's from then Jeff's been in the band, and that's Chris is the newest member, and that's where we're at right now,
How's it been so far, Chris?
Fucking awesome.
Yeah.
All playing this brutal shit.
Yeah.
It's great being with band members who are willing to put real fucking work in the scene and not be stuck in Denver all the goddamn time. It's something I was looking for forever.
Yeah, his second show was a festival in Texas.
Building Temples of Death.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly. So
I was actually going to ask you guys about that too, so we might as well segue.
there you go.
What that sounded like a fantastic experience for you guys.
It's a great one. It's
Yeah.
kind of what we're used to. It's our atmosphere. We of course tour, but in the end, the Las Vegas Death Fest is the type of scene we like, with a bunch of death metal bands, a couple days of music, and that's what this was. Texas version. It was badass. So many great acts to play with.
Yeah.
Fucking
Yeah,
great
a lot of great
opportunities.
bands. It ran pretty smooth as well.
Yeah, very well organized
Yeah.
festival. Amazingly well
That's what
organized.
really impressed me about it.
Yeah. That one in Vegas, man. Vegas is the shit. Vegas is the festival to play as far as the U.S. is concerned, in my eyes, for brutal death. You got Maryland, and New Jersey's coming up really big now. New York festival's coming up really big. Las Vegas, man. Big Mike's been a huge supporter of us. You know, I mean, we're the only band that's ever played it 5 times. So, you know, he's definitely looked out for us, definitely given us a lot of support. And, dude, it's 3 days of fucking mayhem. You know, it's just 16-hour days of nothing but blast beats and gutturals, man. It's fucking awesome, man.
The biggest heat.
Yeah, it's 6 gigs of video when I get home from tour.
And this year was your CD release as well for that show, right?
For the tour,
Right.
We did it for the tour. We were signed with Osprey Industries, the people who put on Building Temples from Death, and my fuck up, if you will, I kind of wanted CDs for the tour. You know, we toured 2 tours prior with no CDs, and I wasn't doing a third, so we self-released a bunch of CDs for the tour, and due to that, we lost our label, you know. But new labels are in the work right now, so as soon as we ink the deal, you guys will probably be the first to know.
Nice.
So.
Nice. So, can you tell us about how your tour this summer with Entrails Eradicated came to be? And I was really curious.
Amazing.
About that. How did that come to be?
I
Like,
miss
how did
them.
you get in touch with them? How did the tour?
I met Jim and Ben over Facebook. Then they ended up coming out to Vegas Death Fest last year. And when they were doing Vegas Death Fest last year, you know, we talked quite a bit and stayed in contact. And while we were at Vegas, I asked them about coming over to do a tour. And it just worked out awesomely that they could, you know. I mean, you want to talk about some dedicated guys, you know, I mean, that's an expensive, long-ass flight. And, you know, they did what they had to do and saved their pennies, and they came over and fucking blew the U.S. away, man.
Right.
I've never played with such talented musicians in my life. Those guys are astronomical.
You had Jenna Cost on the bill also.
Yes, sir. Yeah, from Arizona. And, you know, great guys, man. A lot of fun to tour with. You know, was not a lot you can really say. It was, you know, it was a blast, man. You know,
It was one of the best shows of the summer, I thought.
right on,
I got
man.
to see both nights here, so I was
Right on.
excited about that.
Yeah, it was. We had a blast. I had a blast, man. I've always said the worst day of touring is better than the best day of the rest of your life, man. And it's the truth in my eyes. You know, you're hanging out with all your homies, you're doing what you love, you get on each other's nerves, and it's, you know, it's fun, man. There's nothing like it.
You like end up building like this bond, you know, of like, you know, just these dudes that come over and tour, you know, from another side of the world, but yet you're sharing this experience together and the same passion and everything. And with those guys, to me, I thought it was just like instant connection, like, oh!
And we ended the tour in Oklahoma at a big festival and went out to the titty bar afterwards, man. And you want to talk about, dude, I'm down to end every tour that way. It was so much fun. It was awesome. But you know, it's one of those things where it's so hard saying goodbye to these guys. You spend so much time together and so much emotion through a tour, you know, that shit, when it's time to go, we're dropping them off at the airport, and dude, both Michael and I are like puppy dog, teary-eyed, like, fuck, dude. We have 11 more months before we get to do this again. This sucks. So, it's a blast, man. We've made some amazing friends from around the world, you know. We've been lucky,
Right.
you know. We've had the opportunities to tour with some great individuals.
Right.
So, we definitely have been lucky.
You guys are working on more new material now for your next release, or?
We'll let Jeffrey handle that.
All right.
What do you want to know about the release?
Well, I mean, not necessarily. Yeah, just like your future recording plans, basically. What are they?
We're definitely going to go for higher production. That's a must in our eyes, and we've, you know, upped the musicianship. We finally found a bassist who fucking adds the dimension we've been looking for. We want to put out something that is different, you know. There's more technicality in it. There's still some fucking heavy slams. But, you know, I think that we've grown so much, like, together that this thing is going to mark just kind of what we are ending up as. like solidified all our music and what we want to sound like.
And do you have more touring plans in the works as well?
Yeah.
Yeah? Can you
Next
share
year's
any
tour.
of them yet? Or?
Next year's tour starts at Las Vegas Death Fest.
Okay.
I can't really give you bands that we're touring with, but
Okay.
when it hits Denver, dude, you want to be there.
Okay.
Guaranteed, you want to be
We
there.
will be.
And then we got asked to play Exene Extreme, Asia, Tokyo Death Fest, and then we're doing 5 weeks, but we had to cut it back because of the U.S. tour. We're gonna do 3 weeks through Europe. So
Very nice.
that's next year's pretty much done.
Nice.
Yeah, so
That's really cool.
yeah, it should be a good time, man. It should be a blast. So hopefully we get to actually do all the shit we get asked to do.
Right.
You know, that's the hard part of it is you get asked to do so many festivals and so many shows, and it's hard. You know, I mean, when you figure it's, you know, $1,500 a band member plus gear and bullshit to get over to do Tokyo Death Fest. You know, it's not like we're big enough where we can say, oh, we're down, let's go. We need $6,000. You cover airfare, we'll come over. You know, so you know, but got to sacrifice to do it. You know, I mean, it's save your pennies, don't buy as much weed, and
Right. Well, it must feel good just to even be recognized on that level, you know?
dude, it's an amazing honor.
Right.
It's amazing, man. I mean, the love we've gotten, just it's humbling. It's very humbling, and it's been so cool to see, to watch it grow, you know, and the people that, there are people out there that hate it, and there are people out there that balls out and love it, you know. There are guys out there that have every goddamn thing we've ever put out. And the second we post we're doing anything, I want it. I need 2. You know, and it's like, you know, without people like that, you're nothing, you know? I mean, it is the fans that make the band, and, you know, it's an amazing feeling, man, to be shown so much love and support. To do what you like, you know, to do what you love, to do what makes you you. So
Right.
it's been a fucking amazing ride so far.
Right. Well, and Denver, you know, we're spoiled here as fans, as metal fans, because there's so many great bands here and such a rich scene and a lot of originality, I think, you know.
Yeah.
And, you know, you guys definitely represent the brutal death metal
Right
end of
on.
the spectrum,
Yeah,
of
thank
course,
you.
you know.
Oh, man, thank you.
But how, maybe if you could talk a little bit about, you know, how you feel about the Denver scene and how it's evolved,
I love
especially recently, like in the last few years.
I love
you
it.
know?
I think the biggest problem with Denver in my eyes is there's so many bands. It's hard to catch all the shows you actually want to go to, you know? When there's 3-4 shows every damn weekend,
Right,
every
right.
night of the weekend, you
Right.
know, it's
A lot of
it's
show.
hard. And there's some phenomenal talent out there from all aspects of metal.
Right.
You know, from the Doom to the Stoner Sludge to the, you know, from the Xiphoid to the Velanath Techie, you know, to Harvest the Murder to Zombie Hate Brigade, the Grindcore, the Dope Runner, you know, I mean, I am Minerva, I mean, fuck, dude, you want to talk technicality, holy Christ.
Right.
I mean, the scene is amazing, you know. I've been in the scene in Denver since 1992. And it's different now than it was then. Now it's kind of subdivided, which is, you know, lame. You know, metal's metal. If it's good music, it's good music. Go out, get your ass to the show and support your homies. You know, we're all here doing the same thing, and that's what we love. Back in the day, it didn't matter. 95, 96, 97, in that era, man, you'd go to a local show and it would be as many people as going to see Suffocation. And it was local, you know, 4 bands that were just local, that were just out slamming, you know. So it's a kick-ass scene, but being the old fuck that I am, I like the older scene a little bit better, man, you know, because there were some bands back then that were just fucking amazing and groundbreaking to me, you know. Skeleton of God, one of the bands that changed how I play guitar.
Those guys are awesome.
Yeah, you know. Jeff Kahn was a musical goddamn genius in my eyes, you know, I give that guy all the love in the world and all the praise. He's a phenomenal musician, a great friend, and, you know, I feel honored to have gotten to see him and watch him up close and steal some of his stuff, you know, because we use it today, you know, so it's a good scene, man. It's a really good scene. A lot of really great bands, a lot of really cool people, and just too many goddamn shows. You can't hit them all.
Well, it seems like Denver's actually being recognized from afar too. I mean, the Denver Black Sky show, as you guys
Yep.
know, is happening in December, and
Yep.
there's going to be some pretty big names headlining that. And I've been reading more and more, you know, in the press about how Denver's kind of being perceived from a global perspective as a metal place.
Yeah.
And we actually have members who've actually moved to Denver to be
Part of the scene.
yes,
Wow.
because they've heard that there's so many great shows all the time. And
Yeah.
that's the truth.
Yeah.
So yeah,
We've
Anyway.
encountered that.
Yeah.
Like Boise. We went and played Boise, and they're saying there's only like one or two other death metal bands in the entire state.
Yeah.
You know, and it's weird to see that and like realize we're really spoiled. You know,
Yeah.
the shows nowadays are so eclectic. You know, we get everything. You know, like you said, there's techie there, there's brutal, there's, you know, whatever you have it. And that's what's cool about that Black Sky show. It's pretty eclectic. You know, like Speedwolf and Skinless on the same.
Right.
It's pretty funny, but
Right.
super sweet. You know, you're not gonna get burnt out with all brutal death fest stuff. You know,
right.
whatever it is, or typical death metal or anything like that.
Glad they're gonna have 2 stages too. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Both.
That should be a kick-ass show, man.
Yeah,
Should be
sure.
a great show.
Well, we want to thank you guys very much for taking the time to speak with us this evening, and we're honored.
Dude, we're honored. Thank
Yeah,
you, man.
man.
Thank you.
You guys are sounding great, and your new tunes are excellent. If you'd like to share the names of your new tunes, you're more than welcome to. If that's up to you.
We can give you a little taste on it. It goes with our new album. It's actually a concept album. It's called Epitome of Empty, and it's pretty much about a depraved woman who goes from a drug habit transformation into being kind of like a prostitute and just getting shit on by society, people, what have it, and until she pretty much destroys herself. Epitome Empty is kind of the closer of that one. It goes from snoring shrapnel, doing some fucking drugs, into more sex acts like butt chugging sour bukkake.
Yeah. That's the T-shirt I'm waiting for.
Yeah. We
That's
don't
gonna be
skip
a
out
t-shirt.
on the nastiness.
No, we don't. No, we don't.
We got a few more in there, but
Do you all participate in the naming of the songs and the album titles, or is it?
Nope. That's pretty much Jeffrey,
Okay.
man. Jeffrey, since he came in, you know, I had a bad habit back in the day of a lot of the songs.
eviscerate.
Yeah, you listen,
9 times
dude.
in
You
a
listen to
damn
the old
song.
songs, and it's eviscerate everywhere, you know, because it sounds sick, and you can make it heavy, and it's fucking easy to say, you know. So yeah, once Jeff came in, you know, he took over all of that, and that's his game, man. That's his baby, and you know, I mean, he's got a degree for it, so why in hell would I want to say eviscerate when he's got 38 other words that sound better and are better, you know? So
More disgusting.
exactly.
Right on.
Well, you know, and when I first started, it was pretty anti-Christian, you know. And it was funny because on the first tour, everybody actually thought we were black metal, you know. And it's like, no, we're not. We're just massive anti-Christian, brutal death, you know. And it's not who we are, you know. I mean, whatever, fuck your God. I could give a fuck what you think, you know. As long as you're happy with you, who gives a fuck what you think, you know. So, you know, we had the logo changed up a little bit by Tony Cole, and Jeff changed, you know, for the better what we are, you know. So
I try to make an image for the music, if you will personify what we have. But, I mean, it's weird to think of like the words that I put out there, conceptualizing the whole band, and like something that everyone, you know, agrees on, because in reality it's my instrument, you know, and like just like their guitar riffs, I don't really say anything about that. The drum, you know, it's just like it's my instrument, you know, and I always develop it come out with new ways of doing it, try different patterns, and do stuff I've never done before. So, I mean, I've tried to stay, true to what the music, sounds like to me, but try to make it more of an image for what, it's hard to represent everyone with my words when, it's obviously in my mind.
Right. And that's that's the cool thing about when these guys came in, we all talked, and it was a scenario where it's everybody's equal say, man. This is a band, it's a family, and it's you go out and you tour and you sit in the same vehicle for 19 fucking days straight. You gotta be able to get along, you gotta be able to understand each other, and it's one of those things where, dude, this band is light years ahead of where I ever dreamed it would go. I never thought it would be a full band that actually did anything. It was getting riffs out of my head so I could try and write more grindy shit. So it's Jeff came in and took over and has killed it. I mean, killed it. Michael's killed it since fucking day one. Chris came in and that's fucking slaughter, dude. I was content without a bass player for years, and now I'm like, fuck that. We won't get another guitar player. We have a bass player. We don't need him. And he fits. We're all comfortable. We all have a great time, and we'll see after this tour how he is. Because touring's a different beast, man.
Man, we've lost some members because of that.
Yeah, we have lost members. We've lost a lot of members because of touring. So, but you got to go through the versions, and you got to get to where it's comfortable, because if it's not fun, it's not worth doing. I mean, we all love the music and we all love what we do, but reality is none of us are going to retire from this shit, and we all know that. The last tour was the first tour we actually broke even and made money. The first 2 tours cost us out the ass. But what else are you gonna do with your vacation time, man? Sit at home, watch porn, and smoke weed? Fuck that. Let's go on tour.
Right.
So it's been a blast, man. It's been an honor for me to have these guys in the band, and to build the family that we have. It's been some fucking amazing times. Right? Right? You'll sleep. It's okay.
Right?
The whole time.
The whole
I
time.
will sleep, yeah.
Well, thank you guys again so much, and
Fuck yeah, bro. Thank you, man.
we will eagerly await news about new recordings coming whenever they come. Hope you guys have an awesome night.
Thanks,
Right on,
you too,
brother.
man.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Thank you.